Recently, the US State Department issued a warning to American citizens to avoid traveling to South Africa, or if they do travel, to be extra cautious and avoid certain areas. In summary, the advisory stated, violent crime is common and includes robbery, rape, carjacking, and mugging. There are also smash and grab attacks on vehicles. Violent crime is more common in the downtown areas of big cities, especially after dark. Kidnapping is a threat in South Africa. Kidnappers target US citizens and other foreign travelers to steal money. Captors often force victims to withdraw cash or give online account passwords before they are let go. Though rare, some kidnappings involve demanding ransom from families. That is how it ends. But this advisory is very unpalatable to a South African. It hits one in the gut like a blunt instrument. But it would be disingenuous for any of us to deny its accuracy. In fact, we don't need the Americans to tell us this. Almost every one of us has either experienced violent crime personally or knows of someone among our friends, neighbors, or relatives who has been a victim of violent crime. That is why we employ an army of 180,000 people, the South African Police Service, to fight this scourge. We reward those in the leadership of this organization handsomely. That is why we are not just disappointed but are angry when we hear that some among our crime fighters are themselves involved in nefarious activities. Today I want to look into one such police officer, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection. He is one of those named by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as working with crime syndicates. If this turns out to be true, what does it mean for the fight against the epidemic of violent crime? Hello everyone, welcome back to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host, Joseph Musia. Let's get right into it. Shadrack Sibiya has a storied, if controversial, background. He holds immense power as Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection. So in this episode, I'm asking the question, why would syndicates want a man like him on their side? And if these allegations are true, what does this mean for the safety of every South African? To understand the gravity of the current accusations, you have to understand his history. Sibiya is not some unknown bureaucrat. He's a legendary, almost mythical figure in certain circles of the SAPS, particularly in Gauteng. His rise to prominence began in the early 2000s when he was a key figure in the Scorpions. This was an elite, multidisciplinary crime-fighting unit that was notoriously effective. So effective, in fact, that they took on powerful politicians and were eventually disbanded, many believe for getting too close to the truth. When the Scorpions were shut down, many of its members were absorbed in the Hawks, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. And Sibiya became the Hawks' boss in Gauteng. This is where his reputation was forged. He was seen as a no-nonsense, fearless cop. He led high-profile operations against drug lords, taxi violence kingpins, and corrupt officials. He was the guy you sent in to clean up a mess. To the public and to many in the media, he was a hero cop. But there was always another side to the story. His methods were often questioned. He faced allegations of being ruthless, of running rogue operations. And crucially, he found himself on the wrong side of powerful political forces. In 2014, Sibiya was suspended from the Hawks, accused of the rendition of Zimbabwean nationals in an investigation. But his supporters cried foul, claiming it was a politically motivated hit because he was investigating figures connected to the controversial former crime intelligence head, Richard Mdluli, who had links with President Jacob Zuma. Sibiya fought his suspension for years. He took it to court and eventually won, with the court finding his suspension was unlawful. This victory was huge. It wasn't just a personal win. It was a victory for everyone who saw him as a symbol of a fight back against state capture and political interference in the police.
I'm sitting with correspondence that shows the letter signed by Richard Mdluli himself addressing to the Provincial Commissioner of Limpopo, requesting the Provincial of Limpopo to release Ndlameza to come and conduct this investigation. Ndlameza wrote a report that exonerated Richard Mdluli. It's no surprise that at the later stage, then Ndlameza is then the one to become the head of the Hawks, who immediately when he started, he just dealt with us. He just removed me from office immediately. And that is why the judge said he's a dishonest person who lacks honor and integrity and who made false statement under oath.
He was reinstated, and in a move seen as a major endorsement, the new National Commissioner General Fanima Semula appointed him to one of the most powerful jobs in the entire SAPS, Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection. This is arguably the most operational and influential position in the entire police service, second only to the National Commissioner himself. Think of the SAPS as a body. The National Commissioner is the head. The Deputy National Commissioners are the major limbs. And General Sibiya is in charge of the fists. His responsibilities are vast. He's not just a detective. He's in charge of the top detective in the country. His division is responsible for the core investigative functions of the SAPS. This means he oversees policies, strategies, and resources for solving crime. But more importantly, he oversees the specific units that investigate the most serious and complex crimes in South Africa. The units under his direct supervision include the Hawks. Yes, the very unit he was once leading in Gauteng. The Hawks report to him. They investigate organized crime, corruption, commercial crimes, and other priority offenses. This includes every major drug bust, gang takedown, and high-profile corruption case. The Detective Service. This is the backbone of the SAPS. Every local detective at every police station investigating everything from murder and rape to armed robbery ultimately falls under his command structure. He sets the tone, the training standards, and the priorities for thousands of detectives. Forensic services. This is critical. The labs that process DNA, ballistic fingerprints, and other forensic evidence, the evidence that makes or breaks the case in court, report to him. Control the forensics and you can influence the outcome of almost any investigation. Criminal Record Center, the keepers of all criminal data. Specialized investigations. This can include unit focused on specific types of crime like serial killings or kidnappings. So to put it bluntly, if a major crime happens in South Africa, General Shadrack Sibiya is the man who oversees the entire investigative apparatus responding to it. He sees the intelligence. He directs the resources. He signs off on strategic decisions. He has access to the most sensitive information in the country's fight against crime. So let's tackle this question. Why? Why would these syndicates find a man in his position useful? It's not just about bribes, it's about strategic advantage. If you are a crime boss, having a local cop on your payroll is good. Having a station commander is better. But having the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, that's the ultimate prize. It's like playing a chess game where you can see your opponent's every move before they make it. Here's what he could theoretically offer them: immunity and protection. This is the most obvious one. He could direct investigations away from the syndicate. He could reassign diligent detectives off sensitive cases and replace them with compliant ones. He could ensure that forensic evidence gets lost or contaminated. He could tip them off about imminent raids, wiretaps, or undercover operations. He could, in essence, create a force field around their entire operation. Intelligence. This is the gold. He has access to the entire SAPS intelligence apparatus. He could tell them who his informants are, which of their own members are under investigation, what the police know and what they don't know. He could give them the playbook. Eliminating competition. This is where the murder accusations become so chilling. If you control the head of crime detection, you can not only protect your own syndicate, but actively weaponize the state against your rivals. You could have your competition investigated, arrested, or their operations disrupted by the police, all while your own business runs smoothly. It's the ultimate unfair advantage. Legitimizing their operations. With his influence, a syndicate could gain licenses for security companies, get favorable outcomes in tender processes, or have charges against key members dropped. It's about laundering their power and making it look legitimate. General Sibiya, with his hero cop reputation, provides the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect the man who was once the victim of political purges to be working with the very criminals he saw to fight? It's the perfect disguise. Which leads us to the final and most terrifying question. If these allegations are true, how much damage could he do? The answer is catastrophic, potentially irreversible damage. We are not just talking about one syndicate getting away with it. We are talking about the complete erosion of the criminal justice system's ability to function. First, it destroys morale within the SAPS. Imagine being a young idealistic detective working 20-hour days on a complex case, only to find out that your ultimate boss is leaking your progress to the people you are trying to put away. It breeds cynicism, despair, and corruption. If the top is rotten, why should anyone at the bottom stay clean? Second, it compromises thousands of cases. Every investigation that his division has touched could now be called into question. Defense attorneys will have a field day. Your Honor, this evidence was gathered under the command of a man accused of working with criminals. How can we trust it? It could lead to the collapse of prosecutions and the freeing of dangerous people who were actually guilty. Third, and most profoundly, it annihilates public trust. Community policing relies on citizens coming forward, being witnesses, and trusting the police. If the public believes that the head of the detectives is in bed with assassins, that trust evaporates overnight. People stop talking, cases go cold, criminals operate with impunity. This isn't just about one corrupt official. This is about a structural collapse. It makes the entire fight against crime not just an uphill battle, but a futile one. It means the state has been captured not just by politicians for corrupt tenders, but by violent syndicates for territorial control. Now, we must be clear. These are allegations. General Sibiya has denied them. He must be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This is a fundamental principle. In fact, there isn't even a case in any court related to these allegations. He will definitely be called before the Madlanga Commission to give his side of the story. But the fact that these accusations come from General Mkhwanazi, someone so high up in the police, moves this from a rumor to a seismic event within the state.
Mr. Brown Mokhotsi sends a WhatsApp to Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, and it reads as follows, I quote, "I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. They must have a solution." And he follows another message. "The task team that came to your house and harassed you have been dissolved."
It suggests there is compelling evidence. It sets the stage for an internal war within the top brass of the SAPS. The outcome of this saga will tell us everything about the soul of South Africa's criminal justice system. Is it capable of purging itself of rot, even at the very highest levels? Or are the syndicates so powerful that they've already installed their own men at the very top? It's a stark reminder that the line between cop and criminal, between order and chaos, is sometimes terrifyingly thin. So tell us what you think. Is General Sibiya a victim of an internal war for control of the SAPS? Or is he part of the rot? Give your opinions in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.